On 4th August 1975, 5 men walk into a lift at the AIA building in downtown Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Moments later, gunshots are fired.
They were very sharpshooters. They just shot. They went in through the eye, came out of the back and hit the wall.
By afternoon, the gunmen round up 53 hostages, a daring act that lasts 5 days and makes headlines around the world.
If they don't get what they want, they will shoot one by one.
From day one, the negotiators face numerous problems. And in the quest to rescue hostages, the operation goes halfway around the world.
We must try and save as many as possible.
In the heart of Southeast Asia lies the politically stable country of Malaysia. In Kuala Lumpur, the nation's capital city and economic powerhouse, towering skyscrapers and modern infrastructure frame the city's skyline. Kuala Lumpur's tallest building, the 88-story Petronas Towers, is located on Ampang Road. Further down the same street is the 12-story AIA building. In 1975, it is the tallest structure in Kuala Lumpur. Building security guard Sukhdev Singh remembers it well.
This building was having the most embassies at that time. We had the Japanese, American, Canadian, Swedish, part of French. 6 embassies were all in the same building because this was the tallest building at that time.
4th August 1975, a working Monday in downtown Kuala Lumpur. Ula Adquis arrives at the AIA building just before 8 in the morning. She rides the lift up to level 9, where she works as a secretary for Ambassador Fredrik Bergenstroller at the Embassy of Sweden.
That Monday morning, the 4th of August, I came to the office and it was only the ambassador and myself there. The receptionist was on leave.
Next door to the Swedish embassy, university student Mansour Juso is inside the US consulate. He's planning to visit the United States of America.
On that day, I was at the embassy to get my visa to go to the United States to further my study.
By 10:30 a.m., 5 men walk into the AIA building. They enter the lift, put on masks, and head immediately for level 9. This is where the US consulate, Swedish embassy, and AIA insurance office are located. Outside the US consulate, people are waiting for the lifts.
When I finished with visa application, I went out and waiting for the lift door to open. And then when it is open, suddenly few people with a gun, holding a gun, pointing at me.
The gunmen storm into the lift lobby, immediately opening fire with at least a dozen shots. A few doors away from the lifts is the Swedish embassy. Ula Adquis is planning the rest of the day with her boss, Fredrik Bergenstroller.
I'm going down to the bank to cash some money for the embassy. And then we started talking about something else. And then all of a sudden we heard gunshots very close to, out in the corridor. We said that we had better hide. We thought it was an armed robbery. We went into the inner section of the embassy to close the door, because the entrance door to the Swedish embassy was a glass door. And I could see a man with his back turning towards us.
Responding immediately to an emergency call, security guard Sukhdev Singh and his colleague take the lift, the quickest way up to level 9.
They rushed out and said there's a robbery going upstairs. Then I went up, went and called my chief from the car park. He controlled the lift and both of us went up.
At point-blank range, Singh is shot in the face.
He just shot. He went into the eye, came out of the back and hit the wall. By the time he pulled me up, my whole shirt was already red and the blood was just dripping like a fountain.
The single bullet pierces his head just below the right eye. Miraculously, he survives. The injury leaves him partially blind, however. The sound of gunfire on level 9 triggers a massive panic in the rest of the building. People flee by the hundreds down the emergency stairwell. But for the people on level 9, they are trapped. The gunmen make a systematic sweep of the floor, starting at the Swedish embassy.
Apparently they looked into the Swedish embassy and saw nobody, and we stayed inside and waited. I tried to call the police, and when I called the police, they started shooting in the corridor again. So the policeman on the other side, he could hear, and then said, "We're sending the police."
The hostages are ordered into 2 rooms and threatened at gunpoint to remain silent, or else they'll be shot. Police Constable Mahalingam is the first to respond to the Swedish embassy's call for help. He races up the stairs, but is shot in the face when he tries to enter level 9. He barely manages to escape down the stairs with his life. By now, the building has been evacuated and the street is closed to traffic. Deputy Commander of Police, Zaman Khan, arrives at the scene with the Special Action Unit.
We asked for enforcement. A number of petrol cars came by. Subsequently, there was the Federal Reserve Unit, that is the riot control unit, which is also used for crowd control and all that. So they came, so we secured the area, and then we entered the building, occupied the ground floor.
As 300 police personnel cordon off the building, the gunmen continue their systematic search of level 9. Crossing the corridor, they round up more people inside the AIA insurance office. A shot is fired, and the bullet luckily only grazes Bernard Joseph, who is paying for his insurance. The gunmen have already shot 3 people and now have 51 hostages. But they still have not located the 2 Swedish embassy staff members, Ulla Adquist and her boss, Frederick Bergenstroller. With 2 security personnel seriously injured by the gunmen, members of the Special Action Unit, specially trained to neutralize hostage takers, are sent to investigate. Zaman Khan leads his men into action.
We couldn't use the lift, because if we use the lift, we might go and stumble into the floor where they are in. There might be some shootout and all that. So our greatest concern was the safety of the hostages. So we walked up quite a walk with all our equipment and all that. And then halfway through, we were told to stop.
Suddenly, 2 shots ring out above the crowd of onlookers. A note is thrown out of the window on level 9.
I think the reason why they tell to stop is to stabilize the situation, because the terrorists might get excited and all that. So we came down and we to consider what is the next step we take.
The note tossed from the window reveals that these are not just gunmen, but a terrorist group. It also states their list of demands, of which failure to meet them means certain death for the 51 hostages. 4th August 1975, in the Malaysian capital city of Kuala Lumpur, the AIA building is suddenly taken under siege by a group of terrorists. Storming level 9, the 5 terrorists are holding 51 people hostage, including US Consul Robert Stebbins. the gunmen are armed and dangerous. 2 security personnel have already been shot in the head and are lucky to be alive. 1 hostage is lucky to escape with a superficial gunshot wound. A note from the terrorists lists their demands, and in doing so, reveals they are part of one of the world's most notorious terrorist groups. They are the Japanese Red Army, a splinter militant group founded in 1971 in Lebanon by Miss Fusako Shigenobu. Training with the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, their aim is to start a worldwide communist revolution and overthrow the Japanese government. Cinema director Masao Ardachi left Japan in 1974 to make training videos to help the Palestinian movement in Lebanon.
Beginning, we should get the experience. As a militant, we have no experience in Japan. So we train, and we are daily working in a front against Israel. This is the main work. At the same time, we start to reorganize ourselves as a revolutionary organ.
The Red Army militants' next move was to expand their operations from the Middle East to Asia. Osman Qasim, a Malaysian government official, recalled some of the violent exploits of the Japanese Red Army.
We know about the Japanese Red Army because they were quite active a few years before that. The most notable one was when they raided the Lod Airport at Tel Aviv. And another